The audacity of Vice President J.D. Vance to fix his mouth to say this.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we need to talk about J.D. Vance and why Black Americans are saying you are not the victim here. For a long time, we have seen politicians regard themselves as victims whenever they are called out. But Black Americans are saying enough is enough. This isn't about cancel culture, this isn't about hot feelings, and this definitely isn't about personal attacks. This is about accountability. When policies harm communities, when rhetorics fuel divisions, you don't get to flip the script and ask for sympathy. Black Americans are clapping back, reminding J.D. Vance that real victims are the people living with the consequences, not the politicians who helped create them. Let's listen to what people are saying.
The audacity of Vice President J.D. Vance to fix his mouth to say this.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
First of all, we're not asking for you to apologize to be white in the first place, or rather, more accurately, we're not asking you to apologize for being of European descent. Secondly, we're not asking anything. We're actually demanding justice. We're demanding an accurate account of history, not some whitewashed mythology. We're demanding that you acknowledge the unearned advantages that you have just for being considered white. We're demanding transformation of the systems, the laws, the policies, the institutions that continue to disadvantage black folks and other people of color just because of their race. We don't want your apologies. What we want is truth and repair.
So J.D. Vance, you said white people no longer have to apologize for being white no more, huh? Wow. That's probably the most racist sugar honey iced tea I ever heard in my life. White people no longer have to apologize for being white? Wow. Wow. That's probably the most racist thing I ever heard anybody say that was a president, vice president, ever. Wow, they ain't gotta apologize no more. So who I'ma hold accountable? Huh? Who I'ma get reparations from now? Huh? Man, it's some
We black people need to stop this victim mindset. First of all, you can't hold individuals responsible for something they never did. You cannot blame people today for the actions of people they never met, in a life they never lived. And what's sad here isn't the demand itself, the mindset behind living through victim narrative that keeps her stuck in anger, resentment, and blame. Maybe this is a joke, but I don't think it is. This isn't empowerment, this is learned helplessness. This is someone that has been taught that progress comes from guilt instead of growth, responsibility, or opportunity. The worst part is this kind of mindset gets passed down. Kids raised to believe that they are victims. We grow into adults who feel entitled for an apology instead of just progressing and building a better future for themselves. History is painful. Painful history should be remembered, absolutely, but it should be remembered to move forward, not to demand emotional payment from people who had nothing to do with it. Accountability builds strength. Victimhood builds dependency, and we need more of the first and a whole lot less of the second. Let's move on and be better.
So, J.D. Vance recently said that white people no longer have to apologize for being white. And then he went on to talk about how diversity, equity, and inclusion is in the dustbin of history where it belongs. These people are blatant now. These people are blatantly white supremacists, and they're making no apologies for it. These people are no longer blowing racial dog whistles. These people are blowing racial trumpets. They don't give a damn anymore. They're making their racism and their hatred obvious, overt, and clear. They're no longer playing around. And as far as they're concerned, any history that's about the truth, any history about slavery, any history about Jim Crow, they want to suppress that. And they want to give us a whitewashed history. And they think that if you tell true history, then that's basically making people feel ashamed for being white. No, it's not about that. It's about actual facts. You can't whitewash history. The fact of the matter is, yeah, you did enslave African people for hundreds of years in this country. Yes, it is, in fact, true that these founding fathers that wrote these documents about liberty and all that kind of stuff owned black people, enslaved black people, violated black people in every imaginable way. And if that history makes you uncomfortable, oh well, who gives a damn? Facts are facts. And, you know, this Trump administration can't be reasoned with. They just have to be defeated, man. These people are our enemies, and we need to deal with them as such.
JD Vance just came on and said, we don't have to apologize for being white anymore. I've never heard a white person apologize for being white. And every white person I know has even said the same thing. Even older than me, in their 60s and 50s, they have never heard a white person say that in their life. Why do you white supremacists want to be fucking victims so bad, bro? No one is saying apologize for being white. We just want you guys to take accountability for your white privilege. We want you to end white supremacy. We are telling you guys, stop being racist. Stop saying racial slurs. No one is saying apologize for being white. No one is saying that shit, bro. When any white person that say that shit, bro, that's just what racist white person say. Any white person that say some shit like this, that says some racist shit, you just don't know. Stop trying to be victims, white supremacists. Please. You'll never be impressed. It's in 400 years. No race has ever impressed you. You guys have been doing that to our people. You will never be impressed by black people or any race in the world, never in history.
J.D. Vance was on Turning Point, and he made the statement that white people, we don't have to apologize for being white in America anymore. And Asian people, you don't have to talk around your skin color when applying for college applications anymore. The fuck? First of all, where the fuck are the white people that are apologizing for being fucking white? When you have an entire country that was built around your standards, your beliefs, your desires, how you feel that things should be done, ran, and judged, then it is highly unlikely and improbable to ever think that you would ever think that white people will ever be the race of people that would feel like they owe an apology for anything when they already got anything. And then the fact that he chose Asians of all ethnicities to speak on, that he said Asians about it, is what got me even more. Like, you couldn't even use black people, the people that are critiqued, like Jasmine Crockett, even though she's proven that she's well versed in everything she speaks on, that y'all still, attack her for her verbiage and the fact of how she speaks and, uses, the slang and stuff like that. But it's okay when they do it and use our slang, and when they use it to, get the millions of views and do the TikToks and things like that. It's okay then. That shit, it didn't even piss me off, because all it did was prove what a lot of us black people have been saying and writing about and telling y'all for how long. Is that white people and the white privilege that y'all have, it just really truly blinds y'all or it makes y'all blind. And not even people like J.D. Vance, they're not blind to it. He's out here spewing this shit because it was like covered racism, because that's what it was. Because I mean, there is no way. The fact that he was on Turning Point is another thing, is even more proof. But the fact that he feels like, that white people don't owe an apology for the things that they've done, for the way they've treated people of color in general, namely black people. And because that's who he was really addressing without saying it. Oh, I got it. But I just feel like the more this administration keeps on doing shit like this, and more reasons to remove not just Trump from office, but that entire fucking administration, and the fact that they allowed, I'm going to say again, y'all, I don't know what the fuck these people got on the people that got the power to get these people and impeach Trump and remove him. And like I said, everybody, because don't nobody need to be, it needs to be scrubbed entirely. The shit that Trump been around there doing, all of this stuff, it's like every single day, multiple times throughout the day, you can see something that this administration does to make our country look weaker, that makes us look like total idiots around the country. And truth be told, if several countries are plotting to attack or whatever, it just would not surprise me, because it's like with with Trump in office, I mean,
JD Vance told y'all don't gotta apologize for being European immigrants no more, and I'm just inquiring minds want to know, when did y'all ever apologize for all the shit y'all do? I'm talking about the systemic racism, redlining, literally like mistreating black kids, like just it's in the education system, Jim Crow. Like, I'm talking about when was the apology ever given? Like, has there ever been a time, and I bet not nobody come in here and talk some, it's a Patriot Proclamation where we set you free. Nobody apologized. 40 acres and a mule was promised, and nobody got it. And for the sharecroppers that did got it, they was tricked out their land. When did they ever have to apologize? Like, literally, any country in the world, history is European immigrants coming in and taking over and literally mutilating, raping, doing the most heinous things. And I talk about history every Wednesday. When was there ever apology? When have European immigrants ever apologized for being who they are? I've never seen it.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking about J.D. Vance at that TPUSA meeting saying that white people no longer have to be ashamed or embarrassed or apologize for being white. And I would like to respond to him and to anybody else who thinks like that. Let me get my tree back there. No one's asking you to do that, J.D. Vance. Because listen, this is going to blow your mind. We honor and celebrate whiteness just as much as you do. Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday, and down south, even Jefferson Davis's birthday, that Confederate president. Right? Those are just holidays, right? Columbus Day, St. Patrick's Day. We just get along and just do our thing. But it's white people and all our money. Most state parks, federal buildings, city streets, freeways, military bases, museums, most of that stuff honors and celebrates white people. Now, of course, there are black people, Native, Indigenous, Latino, Asian people who can be included in those things, but overwhelmingly, those things are almost all named after white people. And you know what we do? We just go about our lives. We just go about our lives. We get on the freeway, we call a white man's name. Most schools that even our children go to are named after white people. And I'm talking K through 12, all the way up to colleges, universities. And it's not that black, Latino, Asian people haven't contributed to this country. It's not that. It's just that you control most of the power and you get to decide wherever you are in your city, state, county, district, you get to decide what these names are going to be. And most often you decide it's going to be a white person. Most often. And if you do a hierarchy, it's going to be white man first, and then it's going to be a white woman. And you know what? We just get on with our lives. We get on with our lives. We get on freeways. We go into federal buildings. We go down streets that are named after Confederates. and we just go about our lives. So you can accept Black History Month and Juneteenth, and you could accept things and places and buildings named after people who are not you. And you know what? It's not going to harm you. We could put Black and Indigenous and Latino and Asian people on our currency. It's not going to harm you. And it's something that most of us learn in kindergarten, that it's okay to share. And it's okay to learn about other people and other cultures. And we're talking about people inside this country, co-owners of this country that make it run 24 hours a day. It's not just you, but something about you, J.D. Vance, and people like you, you think you have to be the only, and that anyone else who is honored or mentioned somehow takes away from you. And we're saying it's not a subtraction, it's an add on. How about that?
Why is it that J.D. Vance can use something like race to single out just the white race? How do you get in front of the world as the vice president and say, we ain't got to apologize for being white? Okay, what about the blacks? What about the Asians? What about the Spanish? What about the Pacific Islanders? What about the Indians? What about everybody else? So what is that saying to everybody else? And we just saw them making a white-only town, right? They start to do that. So what y'all trying to do?
They're trying to rewrite history to where they had it before. They're trying to get to the point where it's like
History repeats
we want
itself.
to we want to exclude this. They're like I say, they think 10, 20 years, 30 years, decades ahead. They're implementing this stuff now. They're putting these seeds in their people's brain right now.
I've been giving more thought to J.D. Vance's speech and what he said about white people not apologizing for being white anymore. And here's the reality behind what he said that, The truth is America does not ask white people to apologize in any way, shape, or form. Everything in this country is built to benefit them. It always has been. But see, J.D. Vance is the type of person, and I understand not all white people feel this way, but he's the type of person that sees the immense pride that other demographics have in their own cultures. He sees how much Black Americans value their heritage. He sees how much Latin Americans value their heritage. And this goes on and on. Every other demographic takes great pride in who they are and where they come from. And the truth is, someone like him sees that pride. He sees that inherent love for who we are, where we come from, and the communities that we build together, and thinks, man, why don't I have that? Now, he will never say that out loud, but that is genuinely what he thinks. Why don't I have that much pride in myself, in my heritage, and where I come from? It must be because other people tell me not to be proud. It can't have anything to do with the guilt that I definitely feel, the shame that I definitely feel behind the history of white people in America. Because any way you slice it, when some of them have to look back on how this country was built, they are the bad guys. They are the people who came from somewhere else and took this land from the people who live here. And that is what history tells us. It's very plain. It's in black and white. And as much as they want to try and rewrite that history, reframe that history, or make it sound like something other than what it actually was, they just can't. You bring that to 2025, smack dab in the middle or near the end of the era of MAGA, and since the president was inaugurated over the last 11 months, they have done any and everything to give, quote unquote, give this country back to the people they feel deserve it. They control everything, the government, the media. They're trying to reframe everything to benefit them. But that shame and that guilt has not gone away. And most of the country and a lot of the world has continued to remind them of who they truly are. And that just does not sit well with these people. And in truth, they do feel like they need to apologize. They absolutely do feel like they are in the wrong. But the narcissism, the indoctrination, the story they've been told about what their supposed rightful place in this society should be, is hard for them to let go.
This here is why the message is so clear. Black Americans are not asking for apologies. They are asking for responsibilities. You don't get to cause harm, ignore the impacts, and then turn around and play victims when people speak up. Accountability means owning your words, owning your policies, and owning the outcome, whether they are popular or not. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree that accountability matters more than victims' narratives? Like, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Thanks.